Maryland Governor Wes Moore calling on his party to change course as Democrats struggle to recover from their election loss to President Trump.
The Democrats don't have a messaging problem. There's a results problem. The Democrats have to deliver results and stop being the party of no and slow and start being the party of yes and now, because the frustration that people have, it is real. It is real when people are saying that, you know what, I feel like my life situation has not changed. And so people are looking at all these things and saying, I'm done with all of you.
Gloria Romero is a former Democrat leader of the California State Senate. She joins me now. Gloria, great to see you as always. Do you agree with the governor of Maryland there?
Well, I agree that it is a messaging problem and a results problem, but we've already known that. That is the legacy of the Democratic Party. And it's interesting that the governor, even while saying that, he is still saying no to President Trump and the bringing in of the National Guard to actually get results done.
I think that's a really interesting point, because everybody agrees that Wes Moore is extremely well-spoken. He is a very good politician and a very good communicator, and that's why people are thinking about him as potentially the next big Democrat in the Democrat Party, the next big guy who could potentially run for president coming up in the future. But to your point, if you don't accept the president's help and you don't follow through with the things that he is doing to help the overall American people, what good are all those words? Getting back to what Wes Moore said, though, he said it's more of a results problem than a messaging problem. I'm going to throw two more at you here, Gloria. Doesn't it also have to do with the fact that the far left positions that the Democrats take are not what the American people want? And doesn't it also have to do with Democrats' lack of authenticity when they go out there and try to talk normally to the American people?
Absolutely. And we just heard just a couple of days ago that the Democratic Party is now launching what they call SAM, Speaking with American Males. Remember a few years ago, we had the life of Julia targeted to women. And basically the Democrats said, just marry the state and you'll be okay. So now they're playing the SAM card and basically saying nothing positive. They're just basically trying to scare American men that they cannot allegedly afford a bottle of beer. That is the message this Labor Day to American men. Well, let's not be shocked when we find out that that message is going to fail again. The Democratic Party has not achieved results, and in large part because they have essentially alienated half of the American people. They have claimed masculinity to be toxic. They have basically said and vilified American men and American workers, and what anybody wants. But I'm going to highlight men in particular because that ad was focused on men. They basically have vilified males by what? Telling them that they need tampons in their bathrooms. They need to transition, of course, to being a female. And according to a recent DNC vice chair, he was telling young men that basically young men just want to party and get laid. That is the message to American men still on this Labor Day, and it's going to fail again. They can play it again with Sam this time, but we shouldn't be shocked when they fail again.
If they just be normal. Like, if you're just normal, you will win elections, but they can't seem to do that. They're trying to do something else to win elections. Get the big guy, former President Barack Obama, the other big guy, not Joe Biden, former President Barack Obama, reportedly trying to help the Dems behind the scenes by boosting rising stars like New York City mayoral candidate Zohran Mamdani and Texas State Representative James Tellerico. What does that tell you, Gloria, that they're going back to the past, going back to their guy, Barack Obama?
Well, it shows that there is no bench. There is no future. I have maintained, Todd, that the Democratic Party isn't just collapsing. It has collapsed. It is like Gone with the Wind. It will now be forevermore a party of the past, and it's not going to be resuscitated. The fact that they're bringing out Barack Obama, and I do applaud him for speaking out on fatherhood and support for males. But the rest of the message, though, it doesn't correspond with outcomes. And supporting a failed far left of center candidate for New York City, that is not the way that we're going to win the rest of the country. This is a country that believes in America. We believe in liberty and freedom. We believe in the rights of individuals and a strong economy coupled with strong leaders, whether male or female. The American people are not afraid of strength, And President Obama, unfortunately, is showcasing some of the weakest of the weak, and it's not going to work. It will fail again.
I also wonder if Obama is as influential as the Democrats think he is, because let's face it, he did somewhat stump for Kamala Harris, and we saw how that went. Gloria, Romero, thanks for your time. Thanks for getting up with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.